In the last round of AFC Outdoors, Team Humminbird's Carl Jocumsen created AFC history when he became the first ever angler to win 3 straight rounds of the Australian Fishing Championships.
A win to Carl Jocumsen.
This week, the AFC treks to Lake St Clair in New South Wales for the final of our bass rounds. You're watching the Australian Fishing Championships.
Hi, I'm Steve Starling and welcome to Lake St Clair in the Hunter Valley for round 6 of the Australian Fishing Championships. With only 3 rounds remaining, Team Humminbird are firming as favourites to take out the AFC crown. Team Mercury has been the surprise package of the championships and appear to be the only team capable of mounting a serious challenge to the boys in yellow. An unprecedented hat-trick of wins for bass guru Carl Jocumsen sees Team Humminbird extend their lead. They've notched up 50 points, 9 better than Team Mercury on 41. Team Ford Courier sits in 3rd place on 30 points, while Team Berkley are 4 points further adrift on 26 points. I'm joined now by Carl Jocumsen of Team Humminbird. At just 21 years of age, Carl has clearly shown his more experienced rivals that age is no barrier to putting together a big bag of bass. Carl, the question is, can you make it a clean sweep and take out all 4 bass rounds of the AFC?
I don't know, Steve. Fishing against anglers like this, it's quite easy to come last. So I'm just going to go out there like I'm fishing my first AFC and just give it my best shot.
Well, good luck today, and let's take a closer look at this lovely arena here at Lake St Clair. The last of our 4 bass arenas in Series 3 of the Australian Fishing Championships is Lake St Clair, located in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales, not too far from the town of Singleton. Also known as Glenny's Creek Dam, Lake St Clair was constructed in the early 1980s by New South Wales State Water as an irrigation and water supply storage. It's situated on a tributary of the Hunter River, surrounded by a mix of grazing land and native forest, and not too far from some of this region's famous wineries. As well as plenty of Australian bass, Lake St Clair's been well stocked with golden and silver perch and has naturally reproducing populations of eel-tail catfish. Productive bass habitats in St Clair include weed bed edges, points, bays and the relatively small amount of standing timber, but many fish are also encountered out in open water, well away from the lake shorelines. All of the usual impoundment bass catching strategies work on St Clair's feisty fish, but let's find out what the pros themselves think will be the best approach in this important round.
Yeah, I'll probably start with the darker coloured jackals. I found that in the pre-fish they really like the darker colours, so I'll stick with them and just see what comes about.
Well, I'll give it about an hour, I think, early in the morning on the weed edges and just see what happens. If the fish react the way I hope they do and I get a limit early, then I can relax, but otherwise the pressure will be on.
I've planned to start throwing spinnerbaits early in the morning and maybe move to jackals later on in the day, and I'll be targeting mainly the weed. If I do fish deeper trees, I'll be fishing soft plastics.
Hank was actually in St Clair last year, and I thought he might have been on holidays at Courier, and I thought he might have been on holidays at Lentils, and he wasn't at either of them, and he wasn't at Glenbourne, so I reckon he's still here and I'm going to get him.
Well, it certainly sounds like being an interesting and challenging round here at Lake St Clair, with the wet weather adding yet another wildcard element. But right now we're only moments from the start, so let's cross to AFC's own Matthew Campbell to call the action.
Thanks, Starlo. Well, I can tell you that yesterday's pre-fish was held in very wet and trying conditions. Unfortunately for our pros, there looks to be very little relief in sight today.
Have a look at it. Every time we come here it's like this, cloudy, raining.
I really think today is going to be a lottery. Yesterday the pre-fish was pretty ordinary, especially for me.
There's been a change, like a wet change come over, and it's made the fishing a little bit tough, but it's going to be tough for us all.
It certainly will be a testing day ahead for our pros, and before we kick off, a quick recap of today's rules. Fishing a time limit of 6 hours using flies and lures only. Each angler will weigh only their 2 heaviest legal size fish. 10 points are awarded for top place, right through to 3 points for last. As the Ford Courier clock counts down for the start. There's the siren, we're underway, and especially for those teams down near the bottom of the ladder, this really needs to be the moving day. As our pros take off at speed once again, we see that it's essential they're wearing their Club Marine PFDs. And as they head towards their first location of the day, let's take a look at what we can expect on the Club Marine weatherboard. The forecast is for scattered showers throughout the day with an expected top of 20 degrees. It's quite cool at present with a light moderate wind coming from the east to southeast. Now, first up this morning, we're with Lake St Clair defending champion Harry Watson.
Sitting in about 8 or 10 feet of water just out the front of the weed. Nice. Just got to pull through a little bit of weed every now and then, which is okay. Sometimes that turns the fish on, attracts a fish from inside the weed. Yep. Oh no, still got him. Okay, feels all right. Could be number one for the morning.
We heard Harry mention Hank. That was a 2 kilo bass that he pulled out of Lake St Clair that gave him the win last year.
In the net there, boy. Well, that's not Hank, but that could be Henry, his son, I think. Hank's probably here somewhere.
Team Berkley out of the blocks. After the break on AFC, the stoush at St Clair continues.
Oh, I don't know how big he is.
Oh, yes.
Oh! Welcome back to Lake St Clair and round 6 of the Australian Fishing Championships. We're with Team Humminbird's Carl Jocumsen. He's got one in the well and he's now looking for his second.
Yesterday we found that there was a few good fish off point, the main sort of features of the dam, like off points and in the backs of the gullies. So that's where I'm concentrating on, fishing points that lead into gullies and that sort of thing. I'll just keep concentrating on those sort of features and I'll work them back and forward quite a few times. Yep. It's only another little one. He was in there, next cast, put it back in there.
This is a great example of how confidence can play a big part in the AFC. Every round so far, Carl Jocumsen has got off to a great start. Not only that, he comes home like a train. And once again here at Lake St Clair, he's catching the bass early.
He might be legal. Could be 2 in the well.
Well, young Carl Jocumsen's got off to a great start again. Is that the second one, mate?
Yeah, that's number 2. They're not real big, but 2 in the well's good for me. I'm happy.
What technique are you using?
Just chucking jackals right up deep into the weed and they're just coming out and whacking it. I've caught a lot of little ones, but that's my second legal, so just got to keep persistent and trying to get those big ones to bite.
He'll be upgrading from here on in as we check the Ford replay of his first keeper, coming on his 5th cast of the day, and it was taken on a golden shiner jackal. Here's our first look at Team Mercury's David Green. He's still searching for his first keeper.
Yep. Oh, yes. Oh!
That's the bite that I've been trying to get the whole time I've been here. Oh, look at that. How did that fish get off?
That is terrible bad luck for Team Mercury's Dave Green. Now, Jason Ehrlich, as you can see, he's got one in the live well.
Last year this dam produced some really good fish. I caught a 2.2 kilo fish here last year, so those fish are still in here. If somebody gets onto one of those fish, you know, one really big fish has got a chance of winning it. You could win this comp with one big fish.
So, Jason, what sort of a start have you had to the morning?
Oh, Steve, I've had a fairly slow start. I've caught a lot of little fish. I've got one legal one in the well, but he's only just size. And I had a bit of excitement actually earlier on in the day. I hooked into a 3-pound silver perch. I got excited, thought it was a bass.
You would have been rather disappointed when it wasn't.
I was a bit of a letdown. It fought like a bass, and even first glimpse it looked like a bass. They're the same colour, so yeah, it was a big letdown. Any other day it'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a fish. This one's a bit better. This is a bass. Oh yeah, this is a good bass. He's carving some water. Don't tell me it's another silver. Looks like it could be. What have we got? It's a nice bass, hooked in the head. Oh, get in there. He's only just hooked. Oh, he fought so well because he was hooked right in top of the head.
It doesn't matter how you catch them as long as they're hooked. He's in the upgrade zone now, Jason Ehrlich, as we take a look at the Ford replay of that silver perch he caught just 14 minutes earlier. It's a beautiful fish, but it counts for zip today. Back to Harry Watson. We saw him catch his first. He's still looking for his second keeper.
There's one. He's only a little tight though, I think. He's only small. He might be legal, but I doubt it. Might have to put him on the tape. No, I think he is legal.
So that's 3 teams now with a full bag, 3 teams upgrading. Take a look at this. You can see just how close our pros are fishing together, just how competitive it is. Here's Carl Jocumsen. He's on again.
He's pulling a bit of line. Oh no, he's a better fish. Let's go easy on him now. Oh. This net. Having a shocker with the net. He is a nice fish. Oh, he doesn't want to give up. There he goes. Got him. They've all come off points, so I'm just going to concentrate on the points now. Fish 2 gullies where we caught fish yesterday. As soon as I come back to the points, bang, bang, start catching fish.
Just a reminder for our new AFC fans about the rules of upgrading. Our bass pros are only allowed to keep 2 fish in the live well, and the full replay shows exactly how it happens. If they catch a heavier fish than one they already have, they release the smallest one back into the water and the upgrade fish takes its place. Now here's a contrast. The competition is deep into its second hour. Dave Green is yet to land his first keeper.
Not getting anything. I'm getting nothing from Sinclair. Except a very bad feeling.
So after a strong showing in his first 3 rounds, the rookie is losing his confidence here at Lake St Clair. Back over to Jason Ehrlich. He's looking for his first upgrade.
There's heaps of bait in this bay. Look at that pelican. He's just sticking his head in over and over again. He's just finding heaps of bait to feed on. So if the bait's here, the big fish should be here, you'd think. There's one right at the mouth of the bay. Oh, I don't know how big he is. He's moving pretty quick. He's not huge. Definitely a bass, I can see him. I think he's an upgrader, so I'll grab that net. Definite upgrader. Okay, just going to get out of this bay. There might be another one here yet, but I'm happy with that.
Team Ford Courier making a charge. After the break on AFC,
Come on, Hank. I know you're in here.
the search for Hank continues.
Welcome back to Lake St Clair and round 6 of the Australian Fishing Championships. And behind me is Harry Watson of Team Berkley, the defending bass champion of the AFC series. And at 47, Harry is the oldest member of the group, but don't let those numbers deceive you. He's also one of the fittest blokes on the tour. Let's find out a bit more about the bloke they call Hank.
The nickname Hank came from last year's series where at St Clair I actually cast into a little alley and hooked a big fish. I knew you were in there, Hank. I don't know, just called him Hank sort of by accident, coming from watching American fishing shows, and so it sort of stuck with me a little bit. That's a horse.
For Harry Watson, fishing has been a way of life for more than 40 years. A former competitor on the highly rated US bass circuit, Harry is always looking to improve his angling knowledge.
Every time I go on the water, I just try and learn something, whether I catch fish or I don't. If I don't catch fish, I sort of try and learn why I didn't catch them. And if I do catch them, then I like to know why again. So that's just fishing, and that's how you learn.
And while round wins in this season's championships have been hard to come by, Harry's desire to fish hard remains steadfast.
I'd just like to beat the other 3 anglers for a change. And why? Well, because that's what competition fishing is all about, is beating the other guys.
Back here at Lake St Clair, and Harry Watson is still searching for his first upgrade and still looking for the elusive bass he calls Hank.
Oh, don't go in there all the time. Oh yeah, gotcha. Rip that out of the weed. Oh, that's a good big fish. Oh, I can't believe that. I said don't go in there, and it went in the weed, and when I tore it out, it's dropped down the face of the weed, and just, oh, this fish has just took it on the drop. He's a good fish.
Typical in these overcast conditions for the bass to hold in tight to the weeds.
Get that net. Oh, he's around under the motor. No, get out of there. Oh, he's under the boat. Oh, I think it's Hank. Hank. It's not Hank, but he's a nice fish.
No sign of Hank, but a timely upgrade indeed for Team Berkley. Back now to the Colonel, Jason Ehrlich.
Just moving into another bay here. Just on the outside of it, just fishing the outside once again, fish the shoulders, then work right into it. Yep, there's a fish. Oh yeah, come on mate. Oh, now he's got his head down and he's going. Didn't feel too big at first. He's still not a huge fish. He's an upgrade. He's an upgrade for what I've got, I think. Oh yeah, he's definitely an upgrade. Just pop him into that. Straight in. That's a good upgrade, that fish. That makes me a little bit happier. Yeah, so these bays are definitely working.
That's another nice upgrade for the improving Jason Ehrlich as we take a look at the Ford Courier replay of an earlier upgrade taken just 11 minutes ago on an NT60 Jackal. 3.5 hours in, Dave Green's live well is still empty. Here's Steve to find out why.
Greenie, what sort of a day are you having?
Steve, it's one of my worst days that I think I've experienced for a long time. I've hooked some small fish, hooked a good fish in the back of a bay down there further on my spin gear and lost it.
And have you got any fish in the well?
No, nothing at this stage. It's already 9:30, so pressure's on.
Yeah.
Team Mercury's horror run at Lake St Clair is continuing. Back to Harry Watson. He's on again.
Towed him out away from the weed. I think he might even make an upgrade, this fish. Oh look, I've got a cup of coffee.
No time for a break now, Harry. Just get it in the net.
Yeah. Oh, another nice fish.
This is what we've come to expect from Harry, and he's giving Team Berkley a chance to move up the competition ladder. And it may well prove timely, because as we enter the closing stages, the weather has taken a turn for the worse.
It's raining fairly heavily now, and it's seemed to shut the bass down. Lucky I got those fish early straight up, but I'm happy with one of the fish I got in there. I think I need to upgrade that one smaller one, but you never know. It's probably fishing tough for all of them.
Have a look at these conditions. It's freezing cold southerly wind, pouring rain, and I'm out here fishing. I'd rather be home in bed, having a nice warm coffee and a pumpkin soup, I think.
Our pros enduring the worst conditions we've seen on this year's AFC. Back over to Team Humminbird's Carl Jocumsen. This is where he's so good. Inside the last hour, he's looking for that all-important upgrade.
Yep. Oh, yep, it's a better bass.
Carl's sticking to his game plan. He's still fishing the points and the backs of bays, and he's still catching good-sized bass. A good upgrade here could give Team Humminbird a clean sweep.
Yep, he's an upgrader. Yes! Yes! Yeah.
He's done it again. The young gun from Toowoomba getting a valuable upgrade in the dying stages.
There you go. That's a better fish than what I've got in there.
Well, after 6 long hours of searching for his old mate, it appears Hank has given Harry the slip for another 12 months.
Come on, Hank. Where are you?
And for Dave Green, St Clair will be one comp he'll never forget.
Okay, that's it. The end of the line. We came, we saw, we fished, we caught none.
It's donuts for Dave, but can Jason spring a surprise? Will Harry go back-to-back at Lake St Clair, or has Carl done it again? Find out at the weigh-in after the break. Welcome back to AFC Outdoors, and we're with Team Humminbird's undefeated Carl Jocumsen as he loads his fish in preparation for today's weigh-in. With Dave Green failing to catch a legal-sized bass, Jason Ehrlich is our current leader, his bag weighing 1.67 kilos. But as we've seen, it's usually not enough to beat Carl Jocumsen.
And here he comes, the man of the moment with a big smile on his face, Carl Jocumsen from Team Humminbird. And as usual, he's brought in 2 cracking bass. He's taken out the last 3 bass rounds in a row. Let's see if he can do it again. We'll get Tim Morgan to pour the water off those. You had yet another fantastic day out there, didn't you?
Yeah, Steve, had another good day just to get my 2 fish. I knew it was fishing tough out there. I had 2 31s in the well and just slowly upgraded, and when I got those 2 fish, I was stoked because I know it's fishing tough out there.
Well, let's get them on there. The mark to beat at the moment is 1.67 by Jason Ehrlich, and I think you've definitely got that. Let's see what these fish go. It is 2.16 kilos. Lovely bag of fish there. And Harry Watson from Team Berkley. We've made him wait till last because that was where he was placed at the beginning of today, but I don't think he's going to be at the end of today because he's got 2 absolutely beautiful Lake St Clair bass in there, one of which is a definite contender for big bass. So we'll get the water out of those. What was your day like out there, Harry?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I had my bag in like 30 minutes. A bit different to the pre-fish. Hardly caught a fish all day, a couple of small legal ones, but just flew by the seat of my pants pretty much. I don't know the place that well, but I know what it can fish like, so I just kept banging away at them.
Well, this is the moment we've all been waiting for, because the weight to beat, Carl Jocumsen, is waiting there in the wings looking very, very nervous on his 2.16 kilos. We'll get these two fish of Harry's onto the scales, and I've got to tell you, I'm a little bit nervous about this too. We'll let them settle, and it's 2.15! 10 grams!
A sensational result for Team Humminbird with just 10 grams in it. What a finish! And Carl's good fortune continued when he picked up the 2 bonus points once again for landing the Mako Eyewear Big Fish at 1.18 kilograms. So for the 3rd time in this season's championships, Carl Jocumsen scores the maximum 12 points. Harry Watson collected 8 much-needed points for Team Berkley, while Jason Ehrlich picked up 6 for Team Ford Courier. Dave Green's disappointing day netted 3 points for Team Mercury, but the day again belonged to the undisputed champion of bass, Carl Jocumsen.
To get 4 out of 4, just everything fell into place, I think, and just, you know, everyone out there is fishing well and that sort of thing, and it was just whoever had the luck of the day, I think, and just happened to fall my way just 4 times, which I'm loving.
So after 6 rounds of the championship, Team Humminbird have collected 62 points, 18 ahead of second place Team Mercury on 44. Team Ford Courier have closed the gap to 36. Team Berkley sit just 2 points further back on 34. And if you've ever wanted to catch the big ones like Harry Watson and the rest of our pros, then why not give Berkley soft plastics a go? Berkley are renowned leaders in fishing tackle technology. Berkley Powerbait and Berkley Gulp are the most technically advanced tournament-winning soft plastics in the world today. With laboratory-tested fish-feeding pheromones oozing out of every soft plastic they produce, Berkley lures are guaranteed to make the fish hold on longer. With an awesome range, including rods, lines, jig heads and lures, Berkley have got you covered no matter what sort of fishing you do. Check out the range at your local tackle store today.
What a remarkable day for Team Humminbird as young Carl Jocumsen made it an unprecedented 4 straight bass round wins to create AFC history. And next round, our Brim pros are back into the action as the fight for the title intensifies in the penultimate round at Foster in northern New South Wales. But before we leave you today, let's hear once more from the new king of AFC bass and Carl Jocumsen on how he beat those Sinclair bass.
Basically, yeah, I did exactly what I did last year, and except for using a jackal, and I was just casting to the weed edge, but I basically couldn't do it without the gear that I've got. I was using a Golden Shiner jackal with owner hooks on that, and my favourite camo fish Miller rod with a Shimano Chronarch reel, and without that gear I just wouldn't be able to even come close to competing in these comps. And I just want to thank Humminbird for sponsoring us, and go Timmy in the Brim.